Alright guys, welcome back to another episode of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Last episode, we were talking to the Reaper, and we have an assignment. We got our lawyer's job back. This episode, we are gonna defend our client, and he's gonna be prosecuting. So yeah, anyways, our next destination right now is the prison. Second up, the local prison. The warden said cell 11. That's this one. He's a Pepple G type person. Oh, there's someone curled up in the ball in the back corner. Look. What's his name again? Yes. Professor Albert Harebrain, wasn't it? Excuse me, Professor Harebrain. He has a very interesting way. Who are you? I am Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I'm defense. A lawyer. Was it something I said? A lawyer, you say? Would you be here about the experiment? Please stop biting your fingernails. Are you gonna defend my hypothesis? Your hypothesis? I don't. Yesterday's demonstration. That demonstration was, the magnificent demonstration was, an out-and-out success by anyone's calculations. But despite that, no one listens. No lawyer believes in the science when it's all explained. They all leave at high velocity. Well, looks like we got ourselves an interesting individual. Now, probably not a good time to mention that your zeal made my concentration leave for a while, too. Alright, let's talk to you. Yesterday demonstration. You mentioned the demonstration yesterday. The papers had called it a spectacular failure, after all. The man died in an explosion, didn't he? Yes, you could interpret results that way if you really wanted to. Well, I suppose in the strictest sense. The experiment was a failure. At the same time, it was a great success. So which one was it? You lost me. I saw it with my own eyes, right there in front of me. Mr. Asman was spontaneously disassembled. Until then, everything was going exactly as my calculations predicted. At that point, he should have beamed to the Crystal Tower by instantaneous kinesis. However, the machine exploded and Mr. Asman in fact perished. Yes, I can't deny that part of the experiment was a failure. So what you're really saying is the large explosion that killed Mr. Asman was an accident, correct? But the bigwigs who got arrested on suspicion of murder. I was responsible for the man's death. That is immutable truth here. And for that, I wish to be punished at once. But murder? Never in a million years. It was an accident. Simply an accident. I see. Hurley and I were talking about this morning, you know. He said the situation would change completely depending on whether it was treated as an accident or murder. How exactly? Well, if it really was an accident, then the professor's machine would be kept in protective custody. On what grounds? Ah, yes, it's newly established here in Britain. The Special Dispensation of Scientific Equipment Act. Now one passed me by. But if the case is treated as a murder, then they'll say my machine was the murder weapon, and they'll be able to pour over it as much as they like. If they examine it in great detail, they'll find out how it's made, and then they'll be able to copy my idea. The precious hypothesis will be stolen. The machine must be protected from that at all costs. That's why it's imperative that this whole incident is shown to have been an accident in tomorrow's trial. I see now. Is it really an accident? But I guess that's what we're working with, I guess. Spontaneous kinesis. So, in short, there was a terrible accident with the Great Exhibition Showground yesterday. Yes, or rather no, the devil's in the devil. In the details, strictly speaking, there was a terrible explosion. Same to me. Sounds the same to me. You were demonstrating super high voltage instantaneous kinesis, weren't you? How fascinating. Humans, like all matter, are made up of particles that are held together by electrical bonds. Is my phone ringing right now? Or is it just me? Never mind. I felt a rumble. So it must be possible there's sufficiently high voltage to break those bonds and beam the particles through space. But that's in a nutshell. That's my idea, you see. That's my amazing hypothesis. Gosh, that's unimagining high-level science. Oh, but dare to imagine it. Dare to dream of such incredible technology. Just think, one moment I could be here in this cell, and the next, I could be in the great exhibition again. Well, yes, that would be incredible. But in the next, in the mere blink of an eye, I could be at the Great Parisian Theater, say. The possibilities are endless. The whole of our vast planet would be within reach. So no more hiding in wardrobes on rocky seas for 50 days? I don't think I see it like that. What do you mean, Iris? Well, if you could travel anywhere in the world instantly, the planet would really seem really vast anymore, would it? I think it would feel like it had shrunk. My word, that's exactly right. Where are the implications? What does this mean? Oops, that's got Professor Bunny really worried about the look of it. Clearly, yet this is not another case of just because you can doesn't mean you should, I suppose. The point is, my calculations are flawless. The science works. But without a practical demonstration, it means nothing. It's always the fly in the ointment. It's because practical demonstrations cost a lot of money, and money that young scientists like you don't have. Damn poor people. That's exactly it, yes. Hurley's always complaining about it. He says the government should invest more in science. Well, anyway, I bumped into him at the right time. I met the well-known investor, Mr. Asman. The victim who died in yesterday's terrible accident, you mean? Asman? The Reaper's varsity years. I understand Lord Von Zeeks is a friend of yours from your university days? Yes, that's right. He was studying law whilst I was studying science. What was he like back then? A good question. Unassuming, gentlemanly, and all-round nice fellow, really. That sounds like the complete opposite of him. Sorry? I think you misheard me. I'm pretty sure I must be, like, going cuckoo right now with those traits you just said. I'm talking about the cold-hearted, merciless prosecutor, Baron von Zeeks. What was he like when he was at the university? Talk about a leading question, Uno. As I said, it's an unassuming and extremely pleasant gentleman. Heh. After all, he's the little darling of the Von Zeeks family, and with all its great aristocratic origins. I didn't realize he had such quite noble blood. Little darling? What do you mean, little darling? It was a bit of a shock when I came back to Britain and learned what he'd become. The Reaper of the Bailey, no less. Yes, that's right. I did hear, though, that there was a big event of his life that completely changed him after graduation. Really? What sort of event? I'm sorry, but I don't know anymore. I was in the country at the time. I was in Germany already. Oh, yes, of course. He's heard all about the Reaper. I really don't have the heart to tell him that Lord Von Zeeks is the prosecutor in court tomorrow. Well, either way, tell us about the victim. The full name of the man who died in yesterday's accident was Mr. Odie Asman, wasn't it? What was your relationship with the man? He first visited me in my laboratory in Germany a year ago now. He wanted to invest my immaculate hypothesis. I thank my lucky stars. I see, so you hadn't really known each other until then. money for scientific research? I'm so envious. Well, as far as I'm concerned, the man was an angel. Oh, really? An archangel, even. He was prepared to fund a practical demonstration of my hypothesis for presentation at the great exhibition. And if that went well, I could expect additional financial support for my research from the British government. Mr. Asman provided me with the money and an exceptional engineer. He produced a machine to my precise specifications. But then, your dreams were blown to dust in one enormous explosion. As you can see, I owed everything to Mr. Asman. I would never, ever thought of taking the man's life. Well, he seems genuine enough. I don't think he's lying. They say sometimes the looks can be deceiving, but maybe, I don't know. So, Professor, let me just make sure, absolutely sure, I understand you properly. The huge explosion that occurred yesterday, that was an accident, you're saying? He had no intent to harm the victim, who was in fact the sole investor in your work, is that correct? As correct as 2 squared is 4. I swear it. You mean 2 to the power of 2? Yes, it's true that the man perished in the machine of my invention. So I know I'm far from blameless in all this, but still, I would never use my discoveries, my inventions to take a person's life. Never in a centrillion years. I'm a man of science, that's all I know. Please, you have to believe me. Do you believe me? Do you believe in my hypothesis? Science is the pursuit of the truth, you know. I always believed that, all my life. Well, they say science is dangerous, but if you're really that passionate about it, I'm afraid I don't know much about science or your theories, but I do believe you, and I will fight to prove your innocence with all my might. As what Cosma said, you always believe in your clients. But sometimes you don't always have to believe in your clients. I'm the man of the law, but it's all I know. You have to believe me, please. When I went to live in Germany after I graduated, I learned something very important. Nationality, class, lineage, none of that matters. As long as you try your hardest, you can achieve anything. Thank you for that, Professor. And thank you in advance for defending me tomorrow in court. Alright, Uno. It's time to visit the great exhibition. Sorry? Well, that's where the incident happened, isn't it? Yes, I suppose that's true. Time to investigate at last. Is it finally time to visit the experimentation stage? Okay. What do we have here? Crystal Tower. Foot of the Crystal Tower. The showgrounds are a little too big for my liking. We've been walking around in dense crowds for 2 hours now, and I've felt myself swooning 3 times. There are lots of people, aren't there? I've been trodden for 3 times too. Be careful, won't you, Iris? Don't let go of my hand. Oh, they're holding hands. Finally made it through the throngs though, by the look of it. Here we are underneath the public experimentation stage where the explosion had happened yesterday. Oh my, that is a dent indeed. What's that? I could hear voices from up on the stage. It sounds like an argument. Right, I have it with you this time. I'm warning you, I'll rescue you in a minute. Oh, it's Gina. Oh yeah? Go on, Spectre, give it a shot. You ain't got no evidence and you know it. I have to use that voice again. The Gina voice. Gotta give it the British thought, you know? Wait, I know those voices. You got a cheeky little mouth on you, young lady. But a night in the cells will teach you some manners. Oh, just try it, I dare ya. If you want it... if you want that big bag of chips running down your throat. Yo, hoo-hoo, Grexy. Galaxy, what are you doing up there? They're gonna come down, aren't they?
Ah! Ah! It's you! Here! You're here! Here you are! You're here! You're Lady Ship! How are you, Lady? You're Lady. I hope you're well, you're Lady.
Oh, for fuck's sakes, Gregson. Does that make her 3 times a lady? I'm not well at all. I'm far too busy everywhere. I wanted to ride on the balloon, but there was a 3-hour queue.
Unbelievable! I'll go have a word for you at once, your ladyship. You'll be flying as high as a kite in no time once I pull some strings for you.
Great. Tobias Gregson, Inspector at Scotland Yard. Until recently, he was suspended from duty, and it would appear he's back in action now. He's actually quite well known, appearing as he does in the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. And for that reason, he can't say a word wrong to the story's author, Iris. But there are limits, surely. Or there should be.
Watch it, Sunshine.
Sorry.
What gives then? Don't tell me you're on this case.
Yes, I'm acting for the defense. So we're here to investigate.
Oh, dear me. That's the situation, is it?
Is that really troubling? I have... I have to strict my bot rules. Some lazy 5 bob, is that all you got? Gina, you're a lawyer, ain't ya? Could you stand to carry a bit more copper around your neck, Mr. Nada Odo? What? Hey, that's my last bit of spending money, that is. You can have it back, I'll have to charge you for all your bother, 30 bob. Gina. This is Gina Lestrade, a pickpocket or diver born and bred in the East End of London. In the case that led to my own suspension 6 months ago, where, you know, where she kinda made me have to force perjury upon the court because of case number 3. This is the young girl I was defending in court. What's your problem, Odo? Diver, pickpocket? What's with all the name calling? You want a bag of chips and down your throat and all, do ya? I thought you were proud to be a diver, Gina. You were arguing with Inspector Gregson about it, weren't you? I assumed you've been up to your usual tricks here at the showground. That ain't no way to talk to a lady, Odo. Half a year's a long time. People can change. I'm an apprentice now, learning to be a Scotland Yard detective. So you have to call me what everyone else does, an Inspector Lestrade now. Huh? You're an inspector? Inspector? That badge is homemade, surely.
The inspector part is entirely accurate. No one calls her that. But what it's worth anyway. Investigating's off the cards for all of us.
Oh, what's that supposed to mean?
You guys... Right, well, I'll be back up top. You hold the fort down here, alright?
Alright, sir. This raises a lot of questions. Okay. Can we see what's here? What's this? This platform must have been set up for the experiment. I suppose it's very high up. About 30 feet above the ground, apparently. That's what a policeman I just spoke to said. I don't really understand feet very well. We don't use them in Japan. Oh yes, sorry. It's about 9 meters. But you'll soon be able to be in London for a year, Luno. It's time you get used to our measurements. Yes, well, this thing is so tall, the spectators at the front were just seeing a wall and nothing else. They probably thought they secured the best spot for them to watch from to only be disappointed. There's a saying in Japan, the darkest spot is right under the lighthouse. I feel that it probably applies here. They say fun stuff does happen upon the lighthouse. You stare obviously to the stage above. We should go up there and investigate the exact spot where the experiment was being concocted. Oh, no. Oh, I didn't mean to go. Well, all I can really do is just... So that's it, is it? The machine that blew up. Oh, it must have been a magnificent explosion. I've seen my fair share. You've seen things like this before, you mean? Of course, Hurley's always doing an experiment that ended in a bang. In fact, his own words, explosions are the very essence of chemistry. That might explain the smelling of burning that frequently that comes up, wafting up the stairs. One time he made something that exploded with such force it took off the roof of the building. It's hard to get too excited about that. It's hard to get too excited about that given how I now live in the roof. Well, anyway, that's enough about that. It's time to investigate. Okay. Gregson. Look, Inspector Gregson's over there. He's being deep in thought about something, whilst eyeing up the machine carefully. Really? He just looks confused to me. Can we please, like, you know, go back to the experimentation stage? Can we go back down the stairs, please? Can we not go back down the stairs? No, we can't go back down the stairs? You're gonna tell me not to go back down the stairs? How dare you, game? How dare you not make me go back? I'm going back down the stairs. Okay. Please. For fuck's sakes, can I talk to Gina? There we go, please. But let me explore everything else first, please. What's this? Oh, look, what's that? A ripped piece of cloth? It's not like any fabric I've ever seen before. It's very thick and stiff. It looks extremely durable. It's canvas, I think, with some sort of rubber backing. Oh, I see. At the edges appear to be a bit charred as well. Maybe that means it had something to do with the explosion. Let's make up that Ginny's mid-yarn. A piece of Greek card has been entered the court record. I gotta check that out soon. Hold up. Sorry, I'm talking to someone real quick. My bad, YouTube. Alright, for some reason the ground is damaged in this spot. Look. Almost if there was a fire here or something. Yes, and if you look at it closely, there's some scattered ash and burnt embers too. Well, I suppose there's a big explosion just above here. People wouldn't probably bat an eyelid at a small fire like this would have been. I'm not sure if we English are quite laid back, Luno. It looks as though somebody dropped something behind the tree just here. Dropped or hid. What's this? Some part of a machine that exploded? Maybe it could have fallen from the platform above in the blast, perhaps. Oh, what's going on here? Oh, nothing. I think I'll hang on to this just in case. The mysterious contraption has been entered the court record, blah blah blah. The Crystal Tower. It certainly is an apt name. It was built for the focal point of the expedition. It definitely is, being so tall and all that glass. Can't imagine a building like this ever being erected in Japan. There's a lot of exhibits inside the tower as well, apparently. Of course, there's been an observation deck, but there's also an art gallery, a zoo, and a museum. But I heard you got quite the queue for 3 hours just to get through the doors. Well, at the moment, the shattered glass from the field experiment will be the biggest draw. And thanks to that accident, the whole tower is shut. And suddenly it's not the Crystal Tower anymore, but the Crystal Glass Shower. Apparently everyone's taking to the skies now to look at the disaster area from above instead. But there's a 3-hour queue to go up in a balloon now. Londoners must be very patient people. What about those workers up there? Oh, that's where the Coben ended up in the instant kinesis or whatever they call it, dead of course. And yet they're calling it the experiment a success? How is it a success when murder has happened? That's what I want to know. What's the wooden scaffold there for? The coppers our lads set up after the incident happened to get the body down, I think. Don't know really. Did you help with this erect the scaffold then? Nah, lookout duty's more my thing. Wandering around the exhibition for keeping a lookout for the fun stuff. Mind Gregson doesn't hear you saying that or he'll give you the boot. It's incredible though, isn't it? I mean, could the victim really have bridged that gap by some sort of invisible kinesis? Hold up, guys. There's something that's bothering me. I know... Okay, this one works. Why does this work? You have to go through the emotes section. Okay. Yeah, okay, never mind. Sorry, guys. If you guys are wondering, I am doing YouTube record. I'll stream at the same time. Alright, anyway, talk to Gina. It was about 8 months ago now that I first encountered Gina in connection with a case I was working on. At the time, she was living in the East End with a group of other orphans. She helped all of them survive by pickpocket, but then she got embroiled in a murder. Had a lot of time to think in prison. If I realized I couldn't go on like this, I was. I've been working out. Oh, I'm pleased to hear it, Janice. Well done. So you went from being a pickpocket to a detective? You got it? Good in it? Inspector Lestrade? Sounds like something out of a book, eh? Talk about a sea change. And then there's Iris's old man to think about. Iris's father, you mean? Yeah, I promised her, didn't I? Said I'd get all the police forces around the world to pull out all the stops looking for him. Hounds of the Baskervilles. It's a small promise then, nothing serious. Oh, Ginny, you're so sweet. So anyway, that's how I had to go for a test at Scotland Yard. The only trouble is I don't read so well, do I? Just a small problem. Nothing serious. And when I heard he approached Grexy and asked for help, so the inspector said he'd take full responsibility for Ginny and made some sort of apprentice. That was very magnanimous of Inspector Gregson and very brave. Well, you know Hurley. He enjoys finding ways to make people do what he wants. A great detective likes digging for dirt, in other words. So, the long and short of it is, if you got some question about the case, you can ask this Inspector Lestrade. Alright then, Inspector. I got some more questions, actually. There's still a big mystery surrounding Gina, isn't there? Ooh, what, Uno, what? Well, 6 months ago, Gina was the defendant in a trial prosecuted by the Reaper. In a trial which she was found not guilty, and yet here she is still. Oh, come on, you're not still on about that, are you? The Legend of the Reaper or whatever it's called? True! She is still alive 6 months after, so I'm guessing there is no curse, is there? Cool, you don't have to worry about half worry, Odo. I didn't half worry. There wouldn't be a whole lot of you left. It's like I told you before, innit? The Reaper's kind of like I'm upstairs, so he knows what I'm like on the inside, that I really do nothing wrong. Nothing wrong might be stretching a point. What about Mr. Natsumi in Japan? He's perfectly fine, isn't he? Well, that's true. Perhaps the Reaper's more discerning than I thought. Exactly, I ain't worried, so I'm totally fine. Yesterday's incident. course, out of this world it was. The blimey bloke pulled a bunch of levers on its machine, and suddenly it started blowing smoke. Then it just went pop. I ain't seen never a better experiment here yet. Sorry? You mean you saw it, Ginny? With your own eyes? Yeah, of course. The boss is in charge here, ain't he? Of course, he's keeping everything running smooth, I mean. The boss being Inspector Gregson, I suppose. That's going to take some getting used to. That's all I have to say about that since I'm on duty and I can do whatever I want to. Get this, I was on one of them flying balloons when it happened, watching it from above. No, you're so lucky, Ginny. Maybe I should have joined Scotland Yard too. No, that is a terrible idea. Scotland Yard is kinda useless. Because they were actually useless for the last case, if we're gonna be honest with you. Except for the fact that we got the Selden case. Okay. Yeah, do it. You know how to put the boss in its place already, right, Iris? You have no trouble at all. Then it's settled. When do I start? No, you can't join Scotland Yard, Iris. This is a terrible idea. It's pathetic yard. We'll see. Anyway, I don't understand is this. What if the machine exploded so spectacularly? How could a Professor Bunnybean still be claiming to his experiment was a success? Oh, right. Well, it was a success in a way. It was? How could it have been? Someone literally got murdered. You call this a success? But we did instant kinesis, sir! You still murdered someone! How is that a success? Successful experiment. Surely after the whole machine blew up, no one could call the experiment a success. So like I said, it did some sort of work. I mean, yeah, there was a load of smoke and all that whopping bang. But where do you think they found the victim's body, eh? In the Callisto Tower over there. What? In the tower? You can see for yourself, can't ya? Up there in the above the scaffold. Oh, where that glass is broken, you mean? Yeah, the cage was what the victim got in to stop with. Really get beamed through the air or whatever landed all the way over here. So, you see, it did kind of work, didn't it? Nani? I don't believe it. I mean, I don't get the ins and out of it, but for everything's possible with science. Oh, I tell you what, you can have this. It's a plan for the experiment they do up at the yard. Are you sure? Yeah, go on. I had about 30 bob before, so fair is fair. Yes, I didn't actually give that to you, did I? Sketch of the experiment has been entered into the court record. So, about the investigation. Something Inspector Gregson said before seemed a little strange.
For what it's worth, anyway. Investigating's off the cards for all of us.
Yes, naughty old Grexy ran up there without explaining himself. Alright, that. The boss said no one's allowed to investigate the weird machine that blew up yesterday. Well, that's not fair. We're supposed to be representing the defendant. In that case, could you at least tell us what you could have learned from your investigations? Nah, you're not getting it. You ain't allowed to investigate it either. Why? What did the boss call him again? The Forensic Investigation Team, I think. Anyway, apart from them a lot, there's no one's allowed to lay a finger on the scene. Bit funny, innit? Not even Scotland Yard's own detectives can investigate? I never heard something like that before. Is there anything Scotland Yard cannot do right now? God. Thought I could have a gun on the quiet though, but the boss caught me at it. You probably heard of it and giving me an earful about it from down here, didn't ya? It's not bleeding fair. I think you were giving him as much of an earful back as I remember it. Yeah, well, sometimes I think it's all them chips won't make him so stubborn. You say something to him, Odo. Go on, see him if you get through to him. He's up on the platform above us, is he? Where's the machine that exploded is? We can try, can't we, Uno? Galaxy will listen to us. Anyway, let me check the court record real quick. It is curious. It looks like layers of thick canvas with thick rubber lining up sorts. I've never seen anything like it before. But applying Mr. Strom's methods, you might deduce it was a part of a raincoat worn by someone who really didn't want to get wet. And the charring must have occurred when the person was struck by lightning. Or maybe not. This looks like a piece that could have been part of the explosion. Mysterious contraption? The hell is this thing? Can I not, like, highlight it? Let me see. No? Can I not highlight it? Can I really not investigate it? Oh, the tip! It's always the tip! Okay. So there's some sort of lever here. Wait, what? What is this? It's a crossbow. It looks like a cross between a bow and a gun. You mean a bow gun? I think it's probably used for the same thing too. Crossbow. Interesting though. Well, what was it doing here? This groove here must be where the arrows are loaded, I suppose. So I was right, it's sort of a bow with an automatic firing mechanism. This would be perfect for someone like me who catches his ear with the bowstring up 2 times out of 3. In fact, if I had one of these, maybe I could have beaten Cosmo in Kyoto archery training. I will say, it looks like you can wind this around in order to draw the bowstring back and create tension. You must be able to fire arrows with a huge amounts of force using this device then. In fact, I would imagine it's far more accurate and powerful than any Japanese longbow. Ugh, really I have no idea what I was picking up when I spotted this at the exhibition grounds. Is there like a name or anything like that? No? At all? Guess not. Okay, so the experiment was over here, if we saw from the cutscene at the beginning. This thing is pointing at something, and there are hot air balloons, and there's the tower. And then there's the... probably like the Eiffel Tower. The Eiffel-like tower, definitely. Alright, let us move, or... let's go to the stage. Whew. What else? What is here? That's the question. It ripped itself apart magnificently, didn't it? Magnificently and mercilessly. Yeah. It's someone who stands in the middle of the machine until he has disassembled and been beamed through the air. Yes, beamed. And not blasted. That's the point. Yes, that part's crucial, really. Is something like that even possible, though, Iris? Oh, no, Luno. I'm just a child. How should I know? A child when it suits you, you mean? From what I can tell, I think you were about to pull this lever here.
Stop! Don't touch that!
Aha, that was practically instantaneous kinesis. The way you flew over here just now, gonna see. Christ.
Please, your ladyship, I didn't mean to startle you, but I can't let you touch anything up here.
Oh, so sorry. Alright, you can have some of my latest special blend to make up for it. So stupid.
Wonderful. This stuff really is wonderful.
It's just like old times, this is. You gotta stay on Iris. We're representing Professor Harebrain in court tomorrow, Inspector. So we should be allowed to examine the scene.
Ha! Listen, Sunshine. Even I'm not allowed to touch anything up here. That blasted special dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act to blame. It's driving me potty.
Oh yes, special dispensation. The professor mentioned that too.
More red tape's all we need. I don't know what the government think it's playing at sometimes.
But we're already just to look, aren't we?
Eh?
Surely that's alright, isn't it, Grexy?
Of course, your ladyship. Anything you say, your ladyship, but don't get your dainty hands dirty.
Of course, that's gonna be all it takes to convince him. Don't worry. We wouldn't dream of it touching anything, wouldn't we, Guruno? She really knows how to get what she wants. Can we not explore anything? Considering how badly damaged everything is, Professor Harebrine was lucky to escape unscathed, I'd say. Should have a good look around the machine while we can, I think.
Touch anything now. I'll make sure I'll kill you before I get struck myself, you hear?
I won't touch a thing, I promise. So please spare thought for your digestion. Anyway, do you think this machine could actually disassemble people like the professor claims?
He asked, looking totally incredulous. Give it a rest, Sunshine. If we were allowed to examine all this bleeding scrap metal, maybe we could answer that question. But we can't, can we?
Because of the annoying rules, you mean?
Exactly, the annoying, obstructed flaming rules.
Oh, look at the base of the machine there. Oh yes, there's a tool of some kind of poking around through the wire mesh. It's a screwdriver, I think. That is a weird-looking screwdriver. It's a lovely one that handles the shape of the capital letter A. Oh, it is? Yes, you're right.
What's the matter with you? Don't touch anything, I said. Touch anything and I'll make sure I kill you before I get strung myself, I said.
Yes, I understand. Sorry. I only touched it a teeny whiny bit. But Grexy, I'm very curious about the screwdriver. Really very, very curious.
Of course, your ladyship. You're so glad of your ladyship. Spotting something like this. Fancy.
Okay.
But I'm afraid I can't let you have it.
But Uno found it first.
I assure you, I'll investigate it thoroughly.
7. 7's in chat. He's gone off with it. That was very mean, I'm afraid. Inspector Gregson's gonna make a very clumsy and embarrassing mistake in the next month's installment. Oh, feels bad for Gregson. Poor Grexy. Oof. You're not gonna be written in the books, apparently. Pepe laughed. Is there anything that I can't really touch or anything like that? What's that gigantic thing over there? It looks like an enormous water wheel. Oh, I believe this is your first time seeing this. Oh, that's a Ferris wheel. There'll be people riding on those little cabins you see. Why? Well, they're rotating nice and slowly. It's a wonderful way to see the surrounding scenery. Wait, it's turning? But it's completely still. I can see it turning slowly if you look at it. Yes, that's because it's turning so slowly. One complete revolution takes about half an hour. If you were mad enough to go in one, it would be more fun to whiz around fast, don't you think? I feel as though you might have just invented a new sort of ride there, Bruno. And what's this? There are all sorts of strange buildings here in the Great Exhibition Grounds, aren't there? I seem to remember something similar being exhibited in Japan one time. Oh, in your country, Bruno? I do wish I could go see it. I present a particularly steely samurai with a present of one Hurley's stories if I written specially. And see if I couldn't get Hurley into a jam against some Teetsu Master Ninjas. You might not find as many of those sorts of people around as you think. Oh, well, that's dull. Well, oh, but I do know a prosecutor with a Chon Mage top knot I can introduce you to. A Chon Mage, really? You think I can have any picture taken with him, do you? Assuming he's recovered from the trim Cosma gave him a year ago, yes? No! I didn't mean to press it! Why do you do this to me, game? I literally have to... Okay. There we go. An amazing horn-shaped device is pointing towards the crystal tower. I suppose once people are disassembled by the machine, they're shot out of that thing to whatever they're going. I don't think it was supposed to shoot anything, Uruno. It was supposed to beam people to the crystal tower where they reconstructed to their original form. Well, I don't like the look of it. It was as amazing as it looks. The accident wouldn't have happened in the first place, of course. I suppose that's true, yes. Nothing ever goes according to plan, does it? So those are people carrying balloons dangerously dangling silently over the skies over London. I always thought that day would come when humans would discover how to fly. But I never imagined it would involve them being in suspended colorful, floating Tamari handballs. I am not gonna describe what you just said. It sure must feel amazing being there among the clouds. Tamari handballs. Let's take a ride together, Uno, please. If I'm being perfectly honest, I would like to try it. But without a cast iron guarantee that thing won't plummet to the ground, I'm too scared. Oh well, in that case, I should tell you what Hurley said. It's physically impossible for a flying balloon to plummet down to the ground as long as it doesn't explode. Yes, call me crazy, but I think that exploding part might play on my mind a little. Literally a hot air balloon. Alright, talk to Gregson. Using high voltage electricity somehow to disassemble a man's body and then beam him across the crystal tower. It's an extraordinary thing to attempt, especially in public.
True. It was far the most unusual of the experiments planned for the exhibition mine.
To be honest, I'm a bit surprised it was allowed. Carrying out something so dangerously with so many spectators present, I mean,
doing everything that can promote the new science and technology at the moment. They're more worried about being ahead of the game than the odd spot of the public safety of infringement. If they can be at first to develop some new technology, it makes Britain more powerful in the future, you see.
Yes, I suppose that's true in a way.
So the powers have to be placing a heavy emphasis on the scientists right at the moment.
What sorts of lights?
They make it so that any theories that the brain may remain their legal property, as it were, right through developing it into a practical idea, even what's going through the production. Which is infuriating reason us coppers are allowed to touch the crime scene. Because the new highfalutin special dispensation scientific equipment act forbids it.
I see now.
The only people with permission to investigate here, from some brand new department at the yard. The Forensic Investigation Team, it's called. We've been relegated to keeping guard.
The Forensic Investigation Team?
Any old fool could see this half of scrap of metal was a sham to begin with. And because it says scientific equipment on the paperwork, we can't do a flaming thing with it.
Oh, poor Grexy. He's very head up, isn't he? Alright, what about special dispensation? Remind me again, what's this new legal act that means that we're not allowed to touch the scene here?
Are you happy with me, Sunshine? It's a special dispensation of Scientific Equipment Act.
Yes, I think Hurley mentioned that recently, with this weird twinkle in his eyes as I remember.
Sure he did, your ladyship. I'm sure he did, especially passed for a great exhibition it was. All special scientists have to do is present their ideas to the inventions to some suits in their civil service. Even gets rubber stamped as a guarantee of rights to maintain their invention's confidentiality.
What does that really mean, huh?
Think about it. Think of all the world's changing new inventions on display every day at the exhibition. Although good half of them are a load of cobblers if you ask me, put forward by shammers like yourself.
Thanks for that. Oh, I'd love to know how absurd some of the inventions here are. It's all so fun.
It might be fun to you, but a member of the force has to be present at every single demonstration. Can you imagine, eh? Hang! Science, that's what I say!
Oh, I don't think so. That sounds like my dream job.
You soon think otherwise after spending a day guarding these old shammers' bogus contraptions.
They're all so bogus, how can anyone hope to demonstrate them? There'd be no point.
Yeah, well, there is a point, sadly.
Sorry?
thanks to another of our government's bright ideas. If any theory or invention is deemed to show potential, the government hands out a research grant.
The scientists get funding? Ooh, free funding! Poggers.
Just be a scientist and you get free funding. Exactly, that's what they're all after. All these shammers coming from far and wide to club up Hyde Park. And who has to keep them all safe, eh? Who has to smile politely and welcome them? Us coppers, that's who. And you can see why I say it now, can't you? Hang science, hang it!
Oh, maybe I could see your point. Professor Harebrain. Apparently, Professor Harebrain lives and works in Germany conducting his research.
That's right, came back to Britain, especially for a great exhibition, as I understand it. Probably after one of the government's research grants.
Actually, we learned something else about the professor earlier today. About his time in further education, it turns out he was at a university with someone we both know. Lord Von Zieks.
What's that? That's news to me. But if Lord Von Zieks is the man to prosecute, then Ezekiel's the professor's fate is
sealed? Because the Reaper will get him one way or another.
But that man's beyond me. I don't know what goes on in his head of his. Talking about Von Zieks, this morning's paper ran the story of being attacked. Read that?
Oh yes, but Mr. Reaper's completely fine, nothing to worry about.
Yes, that's right. Glad to hear it. But still, the Reaper, how long is that business gonna keep up, I wonder?
Mystery of the Reaper? The victim of this case, the investor, Mr. Asman. He was another one of the Reaper's victims, or so I heard.
Lord Barak Von Zieks is a top-class prosecutor, but even he can't always push for the right verdict, Rue. Sometimes justice can't win.
Yes, I've heard that jurors being bribed and evidence being falsified. And that's how the notion of the Reaper of the Bailey came about, isn't it?
Obviously, Scotland Yard suspected that Von Zieks initially. We all assumed he was talking matters into his own hands, but if he failed to seal the deal in court. Although the man himself denies that charge. Well,
wait. Although the man himself denied... I swear, when the text doesn't realize it changes names. It does that too much sometimes.
You've done a very thorough investigation, and the conclusion we reached is that Lord Von Zieks is no way related to the depths of those people outside the courtroom. There's no question in my mind. I'd stake my reputation on it, I would.
That's true, then how do you explain it? All those defendants couldn't have just coincidentally died if nobody killed them.
I know that, but I can't explain it. It's a mystery after all, isn't it? That's the whole point of the Reaper.
Well, Professor Harebrain mentioned something else. He said that the university, Lord Von Zieks was a totally different person, easygoing and easy kind.
You what?
He said it was after they both graduated that something happened to the changed man. Do you have any idea what it was?
No clue.
Really?
Look, I got my hands full watching over this frustrating crime scene. Why don't you go make a nuisance of yourself elsewhere, eh?
Well, I guess we've been kicked out.
Oh, right you are, Mr. Haruhoda.
Yeah. Sorry?
Is it about time you were leaving? Or rather, is it about time you were leaving? There are a lot here now.
Oh, that lot?
The forensic investigation team. They'll be giving me the heave-ho in a minute, too.
Oh dear, poor Gregsy. Here, have another of my cup of special blend tea. Oh god.
Oh, that hit the spot. Oh, yep. Hits every time.
Well, at least I've seen this scene with my own eyes. It looks as this is as far as we're going to get with our investigations here, at least. I've been thinking. Hurley might know something, mightn't he? About what? About Mr. Ripa. About what happened to Lord Von Zeeks, you mean? Because it sounds like something very significant occurred after he graduated from the university. Something that completely changed his life. Maybe, but I have no idea where to find Mr. Sholmes at the moment. I have no idea where to find Mr. Sholmes at the moment. He's in the middle of a big case, isn't he? Here, this is what you need. What's this? Some kind of entrance ticket? Madame Two Spells. Is this supposed to mean something to me? You don't know it? It's the most popular attraction in London at the moment. It's very close to Baker Street, actually. You could all go now if you like. No, we don't have time for visiting attractions today, Iris. We have a big trial tomorrow. But that's where Hurley is. Nani? At this popular London attraction? Yes. How is it that you know where he is? Hurley told me, but he told me he kept the secret from you, Nuno. Madame Tuss Spells. I don't see how it could be related to the case we're investigating here, but then... stranger things have happened, and when they have happened, Mr. Sholmes is usually at the heart of them. Alright, boys. We come across nearing the 1 hour minute of our recording. So yeah, next time on Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, we're gonna continue probably the last part of the investigation. Hopefully. Because I really want to start the trial. But yeah, anyways, I'll see you guys all next time.